What is up, everybody? Today we will be discussing the mixed bag that is The Mandalorian Season 3. I will give my honest take on what I loved, what bothered me, and what I hope for the next season. So kick back on your Navarra homestead and let's discuss. First, I want to talk about the visuals. The shots of Mandalore were awesome. Never before had we seen it in live action, and plus the destruction on the surface added to the shock of it all. The CGI is another thing that really impressed me, from the aerial battles to the monstrous creatures, and of course our boy Zeb. I know the volume sometimes takes people out of it, but I really find that The Mandalorian knows how to use it the best. The action is another point of this season that I really enjoyed watching. From the slide tackles, hand-to-hand combat, and of course the large-scale battles between the Mandalorians and the Beskar stormtroopers. One thing I will say is that the final battle was difficult to follow at times. Although it was reminiscent of the Clone Wars, which I absolutely love, so I thought that was awesome. Now, based on the trailers, I wasn't expecting Bo-Katan to be so central to this season. Knowing her story from the Clone Wars, it didn't bother me, but I know that newer fans had a more difficult time because they really didn't understand her backstory. I think the reason her cameo and Ahsoka's worked in Season 2 is because it gave fans a glimpse into who they are without confusing anyone. If anything, it just made fans interested into looking into them. But if you didn't want to go deeper, you didn't have to because the focus was on Mando and Grogu. However, this season took a different route, relegating Bo-Katan to the role of main character, which personally didn't bother me. However, it made this season feel a little off by putting Grogu and Din Djarin's story on the back burner. I love Bo-Katan and think she's an awesome character. I am really happy that she was able to find redemption and complete her story arc. And now we have a unified Mandalore. I think she really proved herself, and it's awesome to see her leading the Mandalorians once again. Which brings me to my final talking point on what I loved: the Mandalorian culture. I love learning about the lore of different groups within Star Wars, and I think it's easy to say that the Children of the Watch are cult-like, but I see them more as the religious zealots of Mandalore. At no time do they force their members to take up the creed or to remain within the covert. It's all a choice, one that they take to walk the way of the Mandalore, that they see fit. I think their specific group learning that there are other ways to walk the path was a huge stepping point. I like that the armor and Bo-Katan work together because they both realize Mandalorians are stronger together. Now we have a united Mandalore, with the leader blessed with the sight of a mythosaur. Although I wish we could have seen more of the mythosaur. I personally really wanted it to be kind of a mythological creature that could speak to Bo or Din, maybe using like force telepathy or something like that. And, maybe that's just a little too high fantasy for some people, but I really like that idea. Maybe we'll see the mythosaur in later seasons. I don't know. But maybe we'll see the mythosaur in the Mandalorian movie, directed by Dave Filoni. There's potential. Time for what bothered me the most. I find that the plotline of this season to be so confusing and all over the place. Like, we start with Mando going to find redemption, then Bo-Katan gets involved and becomes a part of their covert. Then we see this weird episode with Dr. Pershing, then they save Navarro, and then they decide to reclaim Mandalore. But wait, Moff Gideon has escaped and returned to his secret base that he built in the ruined surface of Mandalore. Oh, and he's also secretly been cloning versions of himself and imbuing them with the Force somehow. But the reveal is short-lived as Din blows them all up somehow. Moff Gideon uses his new Dark Trooper suit that was apparently an upgrade from the droids to beat up Din and Bo. He destroys a 1,000-year-old lightsaber in the most unceremonious way possible, and then Axe flies out of the sky to return Gideon's Imperial light cruiser to him, and he is killed in the most cartoon villain way, engulfed by flames. Finally, we end on Din adopting Grogu, even though everyone has been calling Din Djarin Grogu's dad for the past 2 seasons. And Grogu is now Din Grogu because Grogu wasn't weird enough when it got revealed in Season 2. Oh, but wait, Mando and Grogu are now taking the spot of the Rangers of the New Republic as independent contractors working for an X-Wing captain stationed in the Outer Rim. Like, damn, is that not confusing, or am I expecting too much? I don't mean to go that hard because it really wasn't the worst season in the world. I still consider Obi-Wan to be far worse despite the finale of that show breaking my heart. But I got to say that I wasn't blown away by this season of The Mandalorian. I have found a lot of people with similar reactions, and I think the phrase I hear the most is that this season felt off. And I think that's fair. I, of course, don't want you to think I hated this because I found myself grinning throughout the season. I just want a well-structured story next time. And I've said this before, if they release the seasons in bigger chunks, that'll help with how we process it. Like, can you imagine if we got the last 2 episodes back to back? I feel as if it would have been so much better. As for season 4, it appears that Din Djarin will be taking Din Grogu throughout the galaxy on missions hunting down Imperial warlords, while he's also training Grogu to become the galaxy's most deadly warrior, a Mandalorian. I just really want a focus on their relationship, so I hope that takes center stage, because that's what we all fell in love with. We fell in love with the Mandalorian and Grogu. So if that's the focus, I think season 4 could be really good. It's awesome to explore the galaxy, and we, as the audience, get to discover new things through their point of view, which is fantastic. I think that Mandalore itself could still be shown as they rebuild the society that once dwelled there. I truly love Bo-Katan as a character, and to see her working with armor to create a new Mandalore would be awesome. Heck, it could be its own series, although I think the Mandalorians will be involved in Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire movie coming out, most likely in 2026. I hope that all made sense. I tend to ramble on. This season really wasn't that bad. I would grade it a 7 out of 10, with season 1 being an 8.5 out of 10 and season 2 being a 9 out of 10. Some might say I am being generous, but if so, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I can't wait for the Ahsoka show to come out, and it feels so far away. But make sure to subscribe for more breakdowns, lore, and discussion. Like this video if you enjoyed the season or hated it, or maybe you're in the middle. Have an amazing day, and may the Force be with you.